to be any little thing that we want to be. No matter what comes our way, we'll be together, together.
Welcome to Homeschooling Down South. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Kat. We're two Southern homeschooling mamas sharing real talk, resources, and inspiration for life and learning in the Southeast.
Each week, it's summer, y'all, and we're breaking the rules and shaking things up a little bit.
That's right. We're right here in your feed each week, but our summer season has a different flavor.
So whether you're listening on summer vacation or chilling by the pool, we are sharing homeschooling conversations to refresh and inspire.
Pull up a chair and join us as we keep celebrating the joy, freedom, and community of homeschooling down south, summer style.
Welcome back, y'all. Today, we are going to talk about a term that I'm going to go ahead and say we coined.
I think you coined.
TM. Franken-schooling. We're going to talk about Franken-schooling. And if you listened to episode 35 of the podcast with Jessie Fagerstrom, that is where this term originated. She was talking about how she has a lot of Charlotte Mason influences in her homeschool, but then she also really likes unit studies. And that's the beauty of homeschool, is that you get to kind of pick and choose. And I was like, it's a Franken-school. And we fell in love with this idea. And so we're going to tell you a little bit about our Franken-schools today.
Yeah. And maybe inspire you to embrace where you Franken-school, or if you have not felt courageous enough yet to break out of the mold of one of the specific styles of homeschooling that are out there. Maybe this will give you some encouragement. And since we mentioned our friend Jessie, we want to also remind y'all, she has a really cool homeschool consulting business under Modern Mrs. Frizzle. And I'm sure she would be excited to talk to you about Franken-schooling, since we all fell in love with the term in that moment. That I'm 99% sure, Kayla, you were like, Franken-schooling. It was you.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to say something that might get me in some trouble. So
I'm here for it.
I don't love the categorization of homeschool styles, because as a brand new homeschooler, as someone who was just looking into homeschooling, everyone was like, take this quiz to figure out your style. Oh, I think you're this style. Oh, I think you're this style. And so if I was more astute, I might have just like dove into the style that everybody said they thought I would be and committed to that. And knowing my personality, I would have felt completely boxed in by that.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I had no idea what I was doing. And so I was like, oh, that sounds pretty. Okay, cool. And then I just did what was right for my family. And so as I was thinking about this idea of Franken-schooling and just kind of jotting down some notes about how I feel about it all, I love the idea that we're all Franken-schoolers. I would challenge you to find one person who completely fits in that one box of Waldorf or Montessori or Charlotte Mason or traditional, and doesn't pull from any of the other styles. I would be shocked.
I agree. For their entire homeschool, for every child, that they would say they were completely, purely one thing. Even if it's maybe everything they do in their homeschool fits under one of the categories, but does their co-op, the field trips that they go on, do those fit in? And I think if we're all honest, even if you're like, no, I am purely this one style. I mean, don't we all unschool to some degree? Because unschooling sees all of living as learning. And so I would challenge, is someone who says, oh, I'm completely Montessori or I'm completely Charlotte Mason. You don't talk about math at the grocery store or when you're baking. There's got to be some element of all of us at minimum that is unschooling.
Because we always talk about how the curriculum doesn't work if it doesn't work for you. The schedule doesn't work if it doesn't work for you. Well, we're all unique individuals. Our families are all unique. So how could there ever be one blanket thing, one blanket style that fits so many families?
Yeah.
But that's the beauty, is that we have these influences and we can say, ooh, I like these things that Charlotte Mason does. I love these things about a unit study. I like these things from a traditional viewpoint. And then you make your own Frankenstein's monster, but it's really cute.
Yeah. Or maybe it's not. I don't know that ours is cute. Cute. It works. It
Yeah.
works, but
Yeah.
it's not always cute.
Okay, well then tell me about your not always cute Franken-school.
So I was initially inspired when I read The Call of the Wild and Free. And I think the beauty of Wild and Free as a movement and in the book is there's an introduction to all the styles, but there's not an emphasis on one or another being better. And so I think that probably most wild and free families, just like we were talking about, probably most homeschool families, most wild and free families are Franken-schooling to some
Mhm.
extent. And I think that we really are very much, if somebody were to ask me today, what is your style of homeschooling? I would say, well, I'm a wild and free homeschooler. Like that's my vibe because that allows for you to use any style that you like,
Yeah.
but that you're anchoring yourself in values like nature, play, wonder, curiosity, and story. And those values all really resonate with us and our family values that we have defined as what is important to our family, bigger than homeschooling just all the time. But those 5 values that are wild and free, like, really fit with us. But I would say initially, I thought we were gonna be just a unit study family. That was what I was initially really drawn to, and I think it's because of my summer camp experience. The summer camp I worked at was 9 weeks long, and each week had a theme, and
Oh,
so
I love that.
I was really familiar with planning events alongside a theme for a week, and then you let go of that theme and you do the next one, but the rhythm stays the same every week at the summer camp that I worked at. And so that idea of keeping the rhythm but using a unit study
Yeah.
really made sense to me. And when my son was in preschool years, instead of getting a curriculum, I did sort of pick a theme for each month and kind of test the unit study feeling in a very playful way. And the second year we did it, he actually helped me pick the themes for every month. So it was kind of this like interest led, not really a unit study, but theme driven.
Yeah.
And this last year, during his kindergarten year, I got really inspired by Charlotte Mason's philosophy. I took a class, I learned all about it, and I was like, oh, I'm a Charlotte Mason homeschooler. And I had taken the quiz, and the quiz said that I was probably a Charlotte Mason homeschooler with some other things mixed in. And so I was like, okay, I have to go all in and be completely Charlotte Mason. And
Mhm.
I felt this tension and struggle as we were trying it because it wasn't really working. There are things that I'm inspired by. And a lot of those aren't even actually the how to's, they're just how she saw childhood and education
Yeah.
that really resonate with me and my educational style. And I do like some of the actual strategies as well, but they like, a lot of them weren't working, and I kind of abandoned it, and I felt a little bit like a failure, and then I was like, "I don't know what I'm gonna do for 1st grade." And there are some people out there who will tell you, like, you cannot pick pieces of the Charlotte Mason applied philosophy. You have to do all or none. It doesn't work if you only do little bits and pieces, and they may be right. They may be right when it comes to thinking about it from a philosophical perspective, but when it comes to me and my son, I can tell you it's not true. And the other thing that I realized is I was really missing having these themes to guide me. That is something that works for me. And so I was like, maybe I am unit study. This is going to sound like a repeat of Jesse, but I'm like, maybe I am unit study, but I'm so inspired by Charlotte Mason. And I ended up finding a curriculum for this coming year that we're going to try. And it is Charlotte Mason inspired, but it is unit studies, which purists will tell you Charlotte Mason was opposed to unit studies, and that's okay. She is
That's
allowed to be
okay.
opposed
Yep.
to unit studies, and I am allowed to like them.
Yeah.
And so we're going to try this out and see how it goes. And plus unschooling, because I just think it's an incredible opportunity to just learn wherever, whenever. And I'm not going to pretend like that's not part of my homeschool. And I've also chatted with my son, and he has told me he doesn't like going to classes week after week that are the same class. He likes when we go to a homeschool day or a homeschool program just once a month. And so we're going to lean into that. And we've opened up our schedule to be able to embrace that, which I feel like is kind of more of an unschooling way of doing things. Cause, you know, the homeschool day that we go to, whenever it's scheduled, might not align with whatever we're studying. And
Right.
I have decided to let go and let that be okay, which is
Yeah.
very, very unschooly and not my past self. But that's where we're at. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna
Yeah.
keep doing this sort of adaptable and responsive. That's what I want to be. I want to be
Yeah.
responsive.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. What about you,
Yeah.
Kayla?
So it's funny because when I first started telling some people that I knew who homeschooled that I was going to homeschool, they were like, "Oh, I bet you're Charlotte Mason. I bet you're Charlotte Mason." And I don't know why I gave off that vibe because I love my kids being in nature. I we've gotten into the bird watching and the hiking, and wonder is important to me. And I feel like creation, nature inspires a lot of that wonder.
Mhm.
And so I do have a little bit of that, but I think, I don't know, a solid chunk of my homeschooling philosophy is very traditional. I know a lot of people hate a workbook. I love a workbook. I
Yeah.
need a workbook. And it's because I need those parameters. When I did Whole 30 years ago, I succeeded because there were very clear guidelines. There was not a lot of ambiguity. You can eat this, you cannot eat this. I like that. I need that structure. I'm not a teacher at heart. If you've listened to our pilot episode, you know that I'd never thought I would be doing this with my life. And I needed that curriculum to guide me so that I could properly guide them. I also like having that tangible thing. Like I can go back and see their handwriting progress. I can go back and see like, oh, well, this math problem was erased like 7 times, but now over here, she's getting it right out the gate or whatever. So I definitely lean heavily traditional in that regard, but I'm also not doing it at a desk. We're gonna do it wherever we are, and we're likely in our pajamas while we're doing it.
Yeah.
So I've got the traditional, I've got the Charlotte Mason. I too love a unit study because I think I love a unit study because I like to be able to explore what my kids are interested in, because if they're interested in it, they're gonna retain a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, if we see something about, I think I mentioned it episodes ago about my daughter getting super interested in severe weather. She wanted to know about tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff like that. Okay, great. We're going to learn everything we can while you're interested in this, because your interest is fleeting.
Mm,
And in 2 days, you're probably not going to be interested in this. So we're going to capitalize on this.
for sure.
I also, because would I be me if I didn't do this, feel like there should be another philosophy that is not on paper. And you've heard me say, I don't call it homeschool, I call it life school. I feel
Yeah.
like life schooling, which is a little bit unschooling. This is where
Yeah.
my unschooling stuff is pulled in, because cooking, we do a lot of cooking in our house, and there's a lot of learning there. There's science, learning why we are going to let our flour sit with our liquids so that it can absorb, and how that's going to affect the outcome of our baked good. We raise chickens, so my kids know the life cycle of a chicken, and they know a lot about the things that can cause chickens to pass on, and how we take care of them. So I really like a lot of that. And I think, like a lot of people, when I first started homeschooling, unschooling felt scary because what even are you doing? There are no guidelines there. But then I realized it's more of constantly looking for the learning opportunities in your everyday life. And I wish that my schooling experience had had more of those life skills, those life
Me too.
lessons. I think I
Yeah.
did 1 semester of home ec, and I, like, sewed 1 button on or something like that,
Yeah.
and it has not helped me. I want my kids to know how to function, have all of these life skills. And we also love experiences, which I don't know where that fits in any of the styles, but I would rather go to a place where a thing happened and learn about it than read about it in a book.
Yeah. And we are trying to lean into more of that this year too, and it's not quite road schooling, right? Because I feel like that's when
Yeah,
you're like, "We live on the road." So there needs to be some sort of category for, "We just learned about this moment in history, and we're gonna go to state park that has that,"
right.
or, "We just learned about this thing in science, and so we're gonna go to the museum," or we just learned about this kind of animal, so we're gonna go to their habitat or whatever, but it's not quite road schooling, but it might be a day trip or an overnight trip. I don't know, what's that called?
Yeah. I don't know. We should probably invent it.
And then TM, 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 TM.
Right, right. For those who don't know what we're saying when we say TM, 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 you know, the little TM afterwards, the trademark, that's
Trademark.
what that's what we're saying.
I'm gonna be honest that when you said it at the top of the episode, I sat here and thought about it for the whole rest of the time that you were talking, and then I was like, "Trademark."
Trademark, yeah. Yeah, I don't know,
Brilliant.
and maybe is not road schooling, but, like, world schooling?
Well, because
You're I
world schooling is like when you go travel, like,
tr travel the world,
internationally.
yeah. There's
It's
got it. We'll
hard.
figure it out.
We'll
We will
figure it
figure
out.
it out, guys. But for the interim, I'm gonna call it life schooling
Yeah.
because that's what it is. Life.
Experience driven. Yeah, life schooling.
Right. Right. And I don't want there to be this thing where, okay, we sit down and do our workbooks and that is school. And then we close our workbooks and we are done with school. No, that is a part of our school.
Yeah.
That's a part of our learning, our education, but that's not all that there is. Then we're going to go do stuff. And that's also learning.
Yeah.
Or we're
Real
going to
like,
build or whatever.
yeah, the stuff that takes what's happening in the workbook and makes it tangible, or the stuff that's
Yes.
happening in the read aloud and makes it tangible and brings you into the experience. When I was teaching college students, one of the things that used to make me absolutely bananas is people would say to college students, "Well, when you get out in the real world, when you're in the real world," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"This is the real world.
Yeah.
Why is your classroom artificial?
Right.
Your classroom shouldn't be artificial." College students are incurring real debt.
Right.
As they're going to classes, they're working real jobs and they're making real life decisions that will affect them into their future.
Yeah.
Why are we acting like this 50 minutes that they spend isn't real? And I
Right.
think that I've brought that thought into homeschooling is that I don't ever want it to feel like the learning is happening in silos. We might use a
Right.
style or an approach because it's effective, because it works for him and it works for me, but it doesn't exist only in this little box.
Right.
It's all part of living. We are living now. We're not necessarily just preparing for the future. We're also in this moment living life, and it
Yeah.
should be rich and deep and broad. And if a style or an approach was ever inhibiting that, I think that's when it would need to come out of your Franken-school, like, rip it right off.
Yeah. Well, because if you think about it, if and I'm thinking about it from someone like me who needs when you give me those boundaries, great. I know where I can and can't go. Here, this is awesome. I think about the things that I might miss out on if like, oh, well, we can't do that. That's not Charlotte Mason, or we can't do that. That's not traditional or whatever. No, you can appreciate them all for what they are in this season of your life. Cause that's the other
Mhm.
thing. As your child grows and as you grow, needs change, desires change, even your schedule or your rhythm changes, and you have to be flexible enough to move with that. And also, I feel like we fall into this trap of if we hear someone say, "Oh my gosh, I'm just not a Charlotte Mason homeschooler. I could never do that." The response is, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong with Charlotte Mason?"
Yeah.
Well, nothing's wrong with Charlotte Mason. It's just not the right fit for our family. Or, oh my gosh, we used X curriculum and we just couldn't do it. Oh my gosh, well, what's wrong with that curriculum?
Nothing.
Nothing is wrong with it and nothing is wrong with the person. It's just not a good fit. And we talk a lot about comparison is the thief of joy, but also of a mother's confidence. And truly, comparison is going to get you in your head and make you
Yeah.
spiral. Oh, well, I should be homeschooling like this person. This looks fun. I should be homeschooling like this person. And it's like, okay, well, that's what works for them, but you're not them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great quote by Ainsley Arment. And we did an activity once where we wrote down all the people that we compared ourselves to, and then write down everyone whose context for living is exactly the same as yours that you compare
Yep.
yourself to. No one. No one has the same children you have. No one has the same home environment you have. No one has the same spouse or not spouse. No one has the same income, working conditions. You're truly comparing apples to oranges
Mhm.
when you're comparing your homeschool to someone else's. And it's really about finding what is the right fit and works for everybody in the situation. And the other thing that's true is there's so much out there for
Yeah.
homeschoolers. I mean, we have some friends who were homeschooled, and I love hearing them talk about how much has changed from their childhoods when they were homeschooled and how many more resources there are, how many more curriculums there are, how many different kinds of groups there are, all the places that are doing homeschool days and homeschool field trips, which is why we're here
Yep.
talking about all of this. There's so much, and there's always more being made.
Yeah.
And so if you're locked in and boxed in, or you're rejecting something because it didn't work for someone else, there's just this chance that you're going to not find the thing that could have really enriched your homeschool. Even if
Yeah.
it doesn't enrich your friends or your sisters, it could enrich yours. And so
Yeah.
that's why I think we have to be really open-minded and willing for this Franken creature that we're creating. As we're creating this Franken creature, take things off of it,
Yep.
put new things on it, put things on it we never thought we were going to put on it. Maybe move things like we thought that was an arm, but it's actually going to be a leg. This Franken creature is not going to look the same at the end of our homeschools as it did when we started. And I think that part is really cool too.
Yeah, we're using safety pins, not super glue.
I like that a lot. We're
This
losing
is not a
safety
permanent
pins.
thing. This is what's working today. I would challenge anyone who's trying to sort out this whole homeschool style situation to sit down and write a list of the things you love that you're doing in your homeschool and then follow up with why do you love those? What
That's good.
what about this works? And then conversely, if there are things in your homeschool that aren't feeling good or causing tension or stress or anxiety, write those down and then write why.
Mm.
Because here's the thing, I did this for myself before I challenged you guys to do it. I like workbooks because it gives me those guidelines and it helps me see a clear progression. It shows me how to help my kids build on these things that they're learning. And I can quantify, and I'm specifically thinking about like math and language arts.
Mhm.
I can quantify that they have reached these milestones, that they have learned these skills. I love that about a workbook. It feels good to me. As I said before, I do enjoy spending time outside. I enjoy my kids spending time outside because of wonder. Wonder is a good teacher because it makes you ask questions.
Yes.
And that then promotes learning because we're going to go answer those questions or maybe we get to sit in that wonder. And like I said, I like a unit study because I like to pursue my kid. I like to encourage my kids and support my kids pursuing their interests. And I like that we life school
Mhm.
because my kids are getting to experience things at this age that didn't get to experience as a kid. And that is going to become part of the building blocks of their homeschool. And so those things are important to me. And if Charlotte Mason can have her own homeschool philosophy, then Kayla nicely can too.
Absolutely. I think all of our homeschools should be, what's your style? Mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. Okay, so here's my question. Now that we've had this whole conversation, would you recommend someone take one of those quizzes? Or what do you think of them?
It's so hard because my gut wants to say no. Stop doing that. Because if you're someone like me and you take a quiz and the quiz results say you are this, even though doesn't even matter, then I feel like, okay, well, then I need to research this particular style and start doing this. I think that if you are new to homeschooling, no, don't take the quiz. Look at your child look at your family values and take a couple of things that are important to you, even if you haven't started, so you don't know that you love a workbook. What are things that are important to you? And it maybe learn a little about some of the styles. But I just don't know that I would encourage you to take a quiz. And I'm saying this knowing very well that back in the archives of this show, which are not large because this is, we have under 50 episodes right now. But in the archives, there was a point where we were like, take this quiz. It's in our show notes.
And we've given a presentation at an expo where
Yeah.
we sent everyone with a link. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely have recommended it to people.
Yeah.
And
Would you still?
I think at this point, I would say not right away. I would say
Yeah.
there are quizzes out there, and if you end up feeling like you need help and some direction, you could use those. But I think I would start with recommending, even if someone wasn't interested in the wild and free movement or philosophy of homeschooling, I would say check that book out from the library just to read the chapter that does an overview
Yeah.
and see what does your heart leap for.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a quiz that's going to tell you what box you fit in, what do you read and your heart just feels like this is why I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And then the Call of the Wild and Free, in the back of the book, there's resources for everything that's mentioned. And so then you could dig into, if your heart leaps for two or three things, your heart leaps at Waldorf and it leaps at unit studies and it leaps at traditional, then you go deep dive in those and
Mhm.
try to understand them, but also not box yourself in. Just, I would say,
Right.
and then remember, if your heart leapt at three things, then your homeschool is probably going to be driven by those three approaches. You're
Yeah.
probably going to find yourself doing something from all three of those things. You're not trying to go so far down the rabbit hole that you now are only one thing. And that's what I would really encourage people, if they were going to take the quiz or not take the quiz or whatever, is just not to feel like you have to define yourself.
Yes.
It's your
Yes.
homeschool.
It is your homeschool, and that's how it should be defined. And I think if you just sit down, even if you're brand new and you have never homeschooled a day in your life, if you sit down and think of what would my ideal homeschool day look like? If everything
Mm,
was to my level of perfection, what would it look like? Pay attention to what things are important.
yeah.
Is family read aloud time on that list?
Yeah.
Is
Is pace, the slowness or not feeling like it's slow.
yeah. Or
Or your
is sitting down and having this time, like, we're going to do math at this time, we're going to do English, whatever. Is that important to you?
yeah.
Pay attention to what that looks like.
Are your afternoons full because you love
Mhm.
extracurricular things and you need to be done with schooling by the end of lunchtime? Where are you gonna hinge things that really matter to your values? Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Okay, so do you have a win related to Franken-schooling?
The Franken-school is the win.
That's right.
The term Franken-school, this realization is the win for me of this is beautiful. This is not an accident. This is not an exception to the rule. This is what a lot of people are, and I don't even think that they realize it. And I would love, truly nothing would make my heart happier is to see a bunch of people on our social media or in the comments of this episode tell me what their Franken-school looks like.
Yes.
And just
Yes.
like,
Or show us. You can do pictures.
yes,
Show us a
pictures,
picture of your
video.
Franken-school. We would love you to keep your children's faces
Yes,
turned away
not
from the
in it.
camera or not
Yes.
in, yes, but show us pictures of your Franken-school.
Yeah. I want everyone to just embrace the Franken-school thing who wants to. And I don't want anyone to be stressing over, "Oh, well, this quiz said I'm this, and so I gotta figure out how to be this."
Or I can't use this curriculum that really feels like a great fit because it doesn't really fit into
Yeah.
this approach or this philosophy that I said I was committed to. Yeah. Trust yourself.
Yeah.
That's the win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And be empowered to be your own Charlotte Mason or Waldorf or Montessori,
Yeah. What's your
They're no more
style? Mine.
yeah, they're no more important than you are, and you're schooling your kids, so let it be your style.
Love it. Well, when you are not in the lab building this creation on the table, this Franken-school.
It's
Where can the people
alive.
find you?
Oh, you can find me at scratchmadesimple_ on Instagram and at scratchmadesimple on TikTok. And where can they find you, Kat?
I'm at Recreating Camp on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, you can find us on all the socials at Homeschooling Down South. You can email us and tell us all about your Franken-school or someone cool who Franken-schools at hello@homeschoolingdownsouth.com. And if you liked this episode, if you have a friend who has the coolest Franken-school you have ever seen in your life, then send this episode to them. It's the best compliment we can receive, but you can also give us a rating and review wherever you are listening. And we will see you next week for more of these fun summer conversations.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.
And we'll love together, we'll learn together, explore this whole wide world together, no matter where we are.